5:58 a.m. Biscayne Boulevard, Miami. The streetlights are still on, humming softly, their glow reflected in the black glass of office towers that haven't fully woken yet. Palm fronds barely move in the warm air. Somewhere behind the buildings, the Atlantic breathes in slow, invisible waves. A city known for noise is holding its silence. A car door opens. The sound feels louder than it should. The engine turns over, low and restrained, as if it understands this hour isn't meant for talking. Traffic lights blink yellow. A jogger passes, headphones in, eyes forward. Miami at dawn doesn't perform. It observes. This is the hour when the city reveals what it's built on: movement, not the party kind, the leaving kind. As the car rolls south, then west, then back north again through familiar streets, Miami begins to change its posture. Neon signs shut off one by one. Cafes unlock doors and drag chairs onto sidewalks. The smell of espresso replaces the sweetness of last night's spilled cocktails. The city exhales. Miami has always been a place of arrivals, boats, planes, people chasing a version of themselves that feels warmer, brighter, louder. But just before sunrise, it becomes something else. A starting line. Causeways stretch out like calm promises. The MacArthur, the Julia Tuttle. Water on both sides, smooth as dark glass. The skyline behind you starts to shrink, not dramatically, but decisively. You don't turn around to look. That's important. Roads like these don't ask for nostalgia. They ask for direction. The radio stays off. Tires hum against asphalt. A soft pink line appears above the horizon, thin and precise. This is not a moment for history or explanation. It's a moment for noticing how Miami feels when it isn't trying to impress. The city's textures pass quietly, the pastel walls, the Art Deco curves, the concrete ramps stained by decades of salt air. Even the palm trees feel different here, less decorative, more functional. They line the road like witness. Miami teaches you something early. Water is always nearby, but land is what you're chasing. Every road out of the city feels like a negotiation between the two. As you merge onto the highway, the lanes widen, speed increases. The last clusters of high-rises slip into the rearview mirror, their windows catching the first sunlight. Ahead, the road opens, straight and patient. The air grows thicker, heavier with humidity. This isn't the cool promise of a mountain drive. This is Florida. Flat, open, honest. There's a subtle shift that happens when the city falls away. Your breathing changes, shoulders drop. The urgency that cities teach you, move fast, decide quickly, keep up, starts to dissolve. Road trips don't begin with landmarks. They begin with permission. Permission to be unproductive. Permission to let distance do the talking. Billboards appear, then space between them. Gas stations with only one car parked out front. A delivery truck idles near a closed diner. Someone inside pours coffee into a paper cup, waiting for the day to catch up. Miami is still there, technically. Its influence lingers in the music stations, the accents, the light, but the road is already rewriting the mood. This is where anticipation lives, not in knowing where you're going, but in sensing how far you're willing to go. The sun clears the horizon fully now. Colors sharpen, greens deepen, the sky loses its softness and becomes decisive blue. It's official morning. The road accepts it without ceremony. Every great road trip out of Miami starts like this, not with excitement, but with calm, with the understanding that the city will still be there when you come back, unchanged in its confidence. What changes is you, and as the miles begin to stack quietly beneath the wheels, a question settles into the silence. What version of the country begins just beyond this city, and what part of you is about to meet it? 7:21 a.m. Just north of Homestead, the highway stretches forward, uninterrupted, bordered by low grass and drainage canals that mirror the sky. Miami is no longer behind you in a dramatic way. It's simply gone. No skyline farewell, no final glance, just a quiet absence where urgency used to live. The road here doesn't curve for beauty. It moves with purpose. Flat land, wide shoulders, utility poles marching into the distance like metronomes marking time. This is the moment when a road trip truly begins, when there's nothing left to do but drive. Agricultural fields replace condos. Rows of fruit trees sit in disciplined lines, leaves dark and waxy in the morning light. The smell changes too. Less salt, more earth, damp soil warming under the sun. Florida reveals its working side, the version rarely photographed. A pickup truck pulls ahead, its bed filled with tools. Mud stains the tires. This isn't a destination vehicle. It's a routine one, the kind that knows every mile of this road by heart. You follow at a respectful distance, watching dust lift and settle again. Somewhere along the edge of the highway, a small roadside market opens its doors. Hand-painted signs, wooden crates stacked with mangoes and avocados. No branding, no urgency, just produce, shade, and time moving slowly enough to notice both. This stretch of road doesn't demand attention. It allows it. To the west, the land begins to soften. Water appears more frequently now. Not dramatic oceans or beaches, but quiet, shallow expanses that blend into grass. The Everglades don't announce themselves. They ease into view. A widening horizon. A sense of openness that feels less like emptiness and more like possibility. The car's speed stays steady, but your sense of scale shifts. Without buildings to measure distance, miles feel longer. Thought stretches. silence becomes comfortable. This is where conversations change, even if no one is speaking. You notice details you would have missed an hour ago. The way clouds stack vertically here, taller than expected. The sudden stillness of air before a breeze cuts across the road. A bird lifting off from the shoulder, wings wide, unhurried. Florida's interior has a reputation for being forgettable, flat, repetitive, but from behind the windshield, it feels intentional. This land isn't trying to entertain you. It's asking you to slow your expectations. Gas stations become landmarks, not because they're interesting, but because they're necessary. You pull in for fuel. The pump clicks into place. The sound of liquid moving through metal fills the air. Inside, the clerk nods without conversation. The coffee is strong. The floor smells faintly of cleaning solution and dust. Back on the road, the sun climbs higher. Heat presses gently through the glass. You crack the window just enough to let the outside in. Warm air, insects, the faint scent of water. The route begins to hint at options. South leads deeper into the Keys. North promises long highways and changing states. West pulls toward the Gulf. Miami has released its grip completely now. The road offers choices instead of instructions. There's a moment, quiet, unremarkable, when you realize you're no longer escaping the city. You're moving toward something else, something undefined. The radio comes on briefly. A local station fades in and out. A voice mentions weather, traffic farther north, then static. You turn it off again. Some stretches are better left uninterrupted. Ahead, the horizon blurs slightly where heat rises from asphalt. The road disappears into its own shimmer. It looks almost unreal, like a mirage built from patience. And somewhere between the fields, the water, and the widening sky, another thought surfaces. If the road keeps going like this, unassuming, open, unclaimed, how far are you willing to follow it before you need a reason? 9:03 a.m. A two-lane road outside a small Florida town. The highway has narrowed now, intentionally. Fewer lanes, fewer signs. The kind of road that suggests you've chosen something, maybe without realizing when the choice was made. A water tower rises in the distance, its paint faded by decades of sun. The town's name curves across it in block letters, practical and proud. There's no welcome sign, just a speed limit dropping suddenly, forcing attention. You slow down. Everyone does. Main Street passes in a quiet sequence. A barber shop with one chair. A diner advertising breakfast all day. Pickup trucks angled into parking spots like they've been there since morning. People move without hurry. Someone crosses the street holding a paper bag, eyes squinting against the light. This is where the road trip shifts from movement to presence. You park near the diner. The engine clicks as it cools. Inside, the air is colder than expected. Vinyl booths, a long counter, the smell of grease, coffee, and something sweet lingering from earlier. A bell rings softly as the door closes behind you. The waitress doesn't ask where you're from. She doesn't need to. She pours coffee automatically. It's refilled before you notice it's low. A man 2 stools down talks about weather patterns like they're personal acquaintances. Someone else reads the paper, folded with precision. These towns don't exist to be discovered. They exist to continue. Outside, the road waits patiently. But for now, time stretches. Conversations drift. A truck starts, then stops again. Somewhere behind the buildings, wind moves through trees you can't see. Back in the car, the drive resumes slower than before. Houses thin out. The land opens again, but differently this time. Not endless fields, hatches, fences, signs warning of wildlife crossings. The Everglades feel closer now, not as a place, but as a presence. Water edges the road in narrow channels, still, dark, reflecting clouds so clearly it's hard to tell where sky ends and ground begins. The car hums steadily, but everything else feels suspended. A heron stands motionless near the shoulder, tall and exact. It doesn't flinch as you pass. This is its road too. The Keys might be the obvious direction from Miami. So is Orlando. So is the idea of up the coast. But the quieter routes, these interior stretches, offer something else. A version of Florida that doesn't perform for visitors. A Florida that works, waits, and endures. You pass a hand-painted sign advertising boiled peanuts. Another for airboat rides. Neither feels urgent. They're simply there. Options that don't need convincing. The sky grows wider. Somehow, clouds stack higher, casting moving shadows that slide slowly across the land. Light changes moment to moment. Bright, muted, bright again. The road reflects it all without comment. This is the hidden side of a Miami road trip. The part where movement slows enough to notice the human scale of the state. Where destinations stop mattering and textures take over. There's a realization that arrives gently here. The road isn't leading away from Miami anymore. It's leading through Florida. Through lives lived at a different pace. Through places that measure time in seasons instead of weekends. Through landscapes that don't ask for attention, but reward it. As the road straightens again and the town fades into the distance, one last image lingers. The diner window, fogged slightly from the inside, catching the light just right. And a quiet question follows you back onto the asphalt. If the most memorable moments aren't the landmarks, but the pauses in between. How many have you already driven past without noticing? 11:47 a.m. Somewhere west, where the land flattens completely. The sun is high now, unapologetic. Shadows shorten until they nearly disappear beneath the car. The road runs straight for miles, unbroken, as if drawn with a ruler across the earth. This is the stretch that tests patience. No towns, no cafes, no turns worth mentioning, just asphalt, sky, and the quiet rhythm of motion. The Everglades expand on both sides, a vast, breathing system of water and grass that feels ancient compared to the urgency you left behind. Windows down, warm air rushes in, thick and alive. You hear insects before you see them, the faint whistle of wind through side mirrors. Tires meeting road in a steady, hypnotic cadence. At first, the mind resists the emptiness. It looks for distraction, for proof of progress, but the road offers none. It asks for surrender. This is where something subtle happens. Thoughts that felt important an hour ago lose their sharp edges. Plans soften. The constant need to arrive gives way to the act of moving. You stop measuring distance. You start noticing time. Water glints beside the road, wide, shallow expanses broken by sawgrass and dark shapes that don't move. The car slows instinctively, not out of fear, but respect. This landscape doesn't belong to the road. The road borrows space from it. A rest pull-off appears unexpectedly. A simple wooden platform. A sign with sun-faded letters. You stop, not because you need to, but because you can. Standing there, the heat wraps around you completely. There's no shade strong enough to break it. The air hums. Somewhere far off, a bird calls once, then again. The sound echoes longer than expected. You realize how quiet this place actually is. Not silent, but spacious. Every noise has room to exist. Back on the road, the horizon begins to shift. Clouds thicken ahead, stacking darker toward the west. Light dulls slightly, turning the world softer, heavier. The smell changes again. Rain, maybe, or just water moving. There's a sense here, difficult to name, that you've crossed an invisible line. Not on a map. Internally, road trips from Miami often promise escape, sunsets, beaches, freedom. But this moment offers something less marketable and more lasting: perspective. The understanding that movement doesn't always mean progress, and stillness isn't the same as being stuck. A sudden bend in the road breaks the straight line at last. Not dramatic, just enough to remind you that nothing stays constant forever. The car follows naturally. The first sign of the Gulf direction appears, subtle, a breeze that feels different, cooler, saltier, or maybe you imagine it. Either way, anticipation returns quietly, without rushing. You glance at the fuel gauge, still enough. Time feels abundant again, and as the road pulls you forward, away from the long straight and toward whatever comes next, a final thought settles in, clear, unforced. Maybe the purpose of leaving Miami isn't to find somewhere better. Maybe it's to remember how to listen, to land, to time, to yourself, before you decide where you're going. The road doesn't answer. It simply continues. 1:16 p.m. Approaching the northern edge of the Keys, where roads narrow and water edges every turn. The asphalt changes texture, slightly coarser, peppered with tar lines that crack like veins. You're no longer moving through land alone. Water now flanks you on both sides, subtle at first, then widening into open expanses. Light bounces off it in scattered shards. The traffic slows, not much, just enough to notice the subtle rhythm of this place. A fisherman in a small skiff navigates a shallow channel. His movements deliberate, patient. You watch the wake stretch behind him like a tale of quiet purpose. The car passes, leaving only the sound of tires and wind. Signs appear, small wooden markers advertising local seafood, craft shops, and kayak rentals. The words are hand-painted, imperfect, charming, the kind of markers that only matter if you care to notice. A family sits on the edge of a dock, fishing poles in hand, waiting. Children squint toward the sun, their laughter catching briefly in the air before being absorbed by the wide horizon. A dog pads along the dock, tongue lolling. None of it seems staged. All of it seems inevitable. You slow, almost instinctively. The road itself invites observation. It's narrower now. Curves are gentle but unyielding. The past landscape, the straight inland stretch of Everglades, feels like a memory, almost unreal. Compared to this, salt air mingles with the warm hum of asphalt, creating a scent you might remember forever without being able to name it. A local diner appears tucked behind palms, painted turquoise, nearly swallowed by greenery. Wooden tables outside. A hand-lettered chalkboard announces the daily catch. You stop. Coffee from morning isn't enough anymore. Time demands something slower, tastier, tangible. Inside, the bartender pours drinks without speaking much. Conversations float around you in fragments. Tales of storms survive. Fish caught. The quirks of life in a place hemmed in by water. Faces are sun-kissed. Skin carries the geography of this region. Salt, sun, humidity. You listen more than you speak. Back on the road, the car winds along causeways where water reflects clouds perfectly, creating illusions of endless sky. Birds skim the surface, wings tapping softly against sunlight-sparkled water. water. Shadows shift slowly, stretching and folding. Bridges rise subtly and fall again, the motion rhythmic like breathing. A subtle awareness grows. Travel isn't always about arriving. Sometimes it's about noticing how the land shapes the people and vice versa. How a quiet causeway can hold stories of countless lives, all unremarkable individually, yet collectively profound. Roadside stops become tiny explorations. You glance at a small art gallery, a kayak rental, a shaded picnic area. Nothing grand, but something essential. The humanity embedded in the environment. People shaping it, responding to it, living quietly alongside it. As the afternoon stretches toward evening, light begins its slow transformation. Golden hues pour across the water. Reflections shimmer and break as small waves ripple under wind and boat wakes. The air is cooler now, less pressing, with the soft scent of salt and vegetation. Driving forward, the mind begins to wander, not with anxiety, but in curiosity. Thoughts drift over what has passed since Miami. The straight highways, the quiet towns, the Everglades stretching endlessly. Each mile has shifted perception, slightly, almost imperceptibly, like a lens adjusting. And a soft question emerges, unspoken but persistent. What do you carry forward from a road that teaches patience, observation, and subtle transformation more than any landmark ever could? 5:02 p.m. Overseas highway, approaching Key West. The road narrows, curving gently over bridges that stretch like ribbons across turquoise water. The Atlantic on the left, the Gulf on the right. Sunlight bounces off waves, scattering light in dazzling, uncatchable fragments. It's impossible to look without being pulled into motion, reflection, and distance all at once. Traffic is light but steady. Cyclists hug the shoulders. A sailboat drifts in the far distance, its white sails stark against the fading blue of sky and water. The road hums beneath the tires like a living thing, vibrating with history, wind, and time. Every mile feels measured, deliberate, yet free. Small communities appear in succession, low houses, pastel walls, palm trees leaning toward the sun. Shops with colorful awnings, ice cream cones melting faster than the fingers can catch. People linger on sidewalks, half tourists, half locals, all moving at the speed of this place, slow enough to notice and unhurried enough to enjoy. The light changes rapidly as the sun tilts toward the horizon. Shadows stretch long over the road. Water shimmers golden, then pink, then purple, reflecting sky and emotion simultaneously. You realize this is the payoff of leaving Miami. Not a single place, but the journey of contrast, the city's urgency, the interior's patience, the coast's reflection. Stopping briefly on a wooden overlook, the wind carries stories. A pelican glides low over water, wings catching sunlight with quiet authority. A boat hums by, leaving only gentle waves in its wake. The horizon isn't a line, it's a promise, impossible to reach but irresistible to follow. The air smells of salt, of warm asphalt, of possibilities. Every sense sharpens. The journey isn't ending, it's arriving at understanding. Key West won't define the trip. Miami started it, the Everglades shaped it, and these bridges, this water, are teaching it. The road has been less about distance than awareness. As the car rolls into the lower keys, a quiet reflection settles in. Landscapes shift, towns blend, and water surrounds. But through all of it, the thread remains. Motion paired with observation, anticipation paired with patience. The horizon will continue beyond Key West, beyond the visible line. The road doesn't stop, it evolves. And so does the traveler. Finally, the sun dips low, scattering pink and violet across the sky. The keys glow in soft light. The world is quiet enough to notice that you are quiet too. A subtle truth emerges. This journey wasn't measured by miles, destinations, or photographs. It was measured by perception, attention, and moments that demand stillness even while moving. As the last light touches the road ahead, you understand the real gift of starting a road trip in Miami. It's not the beaches, the nightlife, or the cityscape. It's the invitation to see, listen, and feel through flatlands, small towns, endless water, and everything